Hi, I'm Chef Anna in the Growing Chefs Ontario classroom kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make an easy tomato sauce. Tomato sauce is a great way to use up fresh summer tomatoes when they're in season in early fall and late summer, but you can also use canned tomatoes for this recipe too. Before we can turn our tomatoes into tomato sauce, we have to take the skins off of them because I don't like tomato skins in my tomato sauce. There are two methods that we can use to do that. Method one is we freeze whole tomatoes like this. And when they defrost, they become really soft and you can peel the skins off of them. And take off the top, and then you might need a paring knife to help you, or you can just use your nails to peel off the skins. Like that. The other method I'm going to show you how to do today is blanching. Now, to prepare our tomatoes for blanching, there's a couple things that we have to do. First, using a paring knife, so adults, you might need to help with this method. I'm going to core my tomato by carefully cutting around the part at the top. And this is where the tomato attaches to the stem. So I don't want that, I want to take that out. And then on the other side, I'm going to cut a shallow X. And this is where the skin will start to pull away. So I'm going to do that with all of my tomatoes. So to blanch, we need a big pot of hot boiling water, and we need a bucket of ice water too. I have all my tomatoes prepped. I'm going to put them in the boiling water for about 15 seconds because I'm not trying to cook my tomatoes. I just want to encourage the skins to lift away. And to do that, I'm going to use my slotted spoon to help me lower them into the water. That way, the water won't splash if I were to drop these right into the hot water. After about 15 seconds, I am now going to dunk them into my ice water. This one I can already see the skin is peeling away on its own. That's great. And as soon as my tomatoes are cool, I'm going to take them out of the water because I don't want the water to go into the tomatoes too much. If you have a tomato that's not going to peel easily, like this one looks a little difficult perhaps, you can put it back in the hot water for about 7 seconds and then dunk it in the ice again. So with each tomato now, I'm just going to peel off all of the skin. It's easiest to start from the X at the bottom of the tomato that you cut before you blanched, and just peel it back. All my tomatoes are peeled, and you can see how similar they look to my canned tomatoes now as well. So if you are using canned tomatoes for this recipe, this is where you would join us. And at this point, we're going to cut our tomatoes into chunks and add them to our pot. They don't have to be pretty, they don't have to be the same size. We just want them in chunks. But keep in mind, the smaller the chunks are, the more quickly they will cook. So all my tomatoes are cut up, and I'm going to put them into my pot. Be careful of the sauce, it's very saucy. There's lots of tomato juice here. And I'll just show you the canned tomatoes as well. So they're a little bit softer than if we were using a fresh tomato, but we just cut them up the same way and put them into our pot. This recipe that I'm using is based off Marcella Hazan, and she was a food writer from Italy, and she's credited with popularizing Italian food in North America. And this is based off of her very famous easy tomato sauce. And in this tomato sauce, she puts a whole onion, but she just cuts it in half and adds the whole thing to the pot. She also adds a chunk of butter to her sauce, but I'm going to add some olive oil some balsamic vinegar for a little bit of sweetness, and then also some herbs. I'm using parsley, oregano, and thyme. You can use whatever fresh herbs you like, or you can also use dried. If you're using dried herbs, you're going to use a lot less because dried herbs are these fresh herbs without all the water in them, so their flavor is much more concentrated. So now I'm going to bring this up to a boil and reduce it to a simmer until it's thick and saucy. So that'll be about 45 minutes. So the sauce has been bubbling away here for about 45 minutes. You can see my onions are getting really nice and soft and cooked, and my herbs have completely cooked through. I still have quite a bit of liquid here, and so you could keep it going to keep evaporating the liquid, or you could add a little bit of tomato paste or something like that to help thicken it. I'm going to serve this on pasta today, so I'm okay with a little bit of a thinner sauce. So at this point, I'm going to take out my beautiful onion. And although we're not going to use this onion anymore in the sauce, it makes a really good snack with a little bit of salt on it. I'm also going to take out my herbs at this point, and I tied my herbs with a piece of twine, so it's very easy for me to take them all out at once. Before I serve my pasta sauce, I want to taste it. Tomatoes infamously need quite a bit of salt and sometimes a little bit of sugar just to help sweeten it if they're a little acidic. So it definitely needs some salt. And you can serve this as a chunky sauce like I have here, or you can blend it with a blender or an immersion blender if you like a smoother sauce. You just want to be careful anytime you're blending something hot because the steam will build up in your blender and it could end up all over your kitchen. So make sure that you're working with an adult if you're blending something hot. I'm going to turn my stove off. I have some pasta here that I cooked up, and I'm going to scoop out some of this beautiful chunky sauce on top of my pasta. Pasta can be a little bit tricky to make nice, but that's okay because it's delicious. And that's what the most important thing is, how it tastes. I'm going to garnish with a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to finish it with a sprinkle of salt. And there is your fresh and easy tomato sauce.